It was almost midnight when two friends, Ethan and Marcus, left their small hometown of Millbrook, Tennessee. They had spent the evening at a friend's house, and now they were driving home through the quiet countryside. Ethan was behind the wheel. Marcus sat in the passenger seat, staring through the window. The town had disappeared behind them. There were no streetlights anymore, no houses, no traffic, only a narrow road surrounded by dark fields and trees. Ethan looked at the dashboard. 12:07 a.m. "We'll be home in 15 minutes, he said. Marcus smiled. "Unless you miss another turn." Ethan laughed. But a few minutes later, Marcus suddenly sat upright. "Wait." Ethan looked at him. "What?" Marcus pointed through the windshield. Something was sitting beside the road. As they got closer, they realized it was an old wooden bench. It stood completely alone in an empty field. No park, no sidewalk, no house nearby. Just the bench. Marcus frowned. "I've driven this road hundreds of times. I've never seen that bench." Ethan slowed the car. Neither of them noticed the person sitting on it. They drove past. Marcus looked back. The bench was empty. But then Ethan checked the rearview mirror. A figure was standing in the middle of the road behind them. Ethan immediately hit the brakes. Marcus turned around. There was nothing there. Only darkness. Ethan stared at the mirror. "Did you see that?" Marcus nodded. "I saw someone." Neither of them spoke for several seconds. Then Ethan started driving again. He tried to laugh it off. "Probably someone walking home." Marcus shook his head. "Not at midnight. Out here." They continued. 5 minutes passed. Then Marcus noticed something ahead. His face went pale. "Ethan." The same bench was sitting beside the road again. Ethan stopped breathing for a moment. "That can't be." They'd been driving straight. There was no turn, no intersection. No way they could have returned to the same place. Marcus whispered, "Don't stop this time." Ethan accelerated. As they passed the bench, Marcus looked toward it. Someone was sitting there. A woman. She was completely still. Her face was hidden by darkness. Then she slowly turned her head toward the car. Marcus looked away. The car radio suddenly switched on. Static filled the vehicle. Ethan reached for the radio. Before he could turn it off, a woman's voice whispered through the static, "Take me home." Ethan immediately switched it off. Silence returned. Marcus stared at him. "You heard that too, right?" Ethan nodded. Neither friend said another word. For the next several minutes, the only sound was the engine. Then the radio switched on again. This time the voice was clearer. "You already passed my house." Marcus looked at Ethan. "What house?" Ethan didn't answer. The road ahead seemed to stretch forever. Marcus pulled out his phone. "No signal." Ethan checked his phone. Nothing. Then Marcus noticed something even stranger. The time on his phone still said 12:07 a.m. He looked at Ethan's dashboard. 12:07 a.m. Ethan checked his watch. 12:07 a.m. They'd been driving for almost 20 minutes, but time hadn't moved. Marcus whispered, "We're stuck." Suddenly something appeared in the rearview mirror. The bench. It was directly behind them. Marcus turned around. Nothing. He looked back at the mirror. The bench was still there, and someone was sitting on it. Marcus leaned closer. The figure slowly stood, then began walking toward their car. Ethan locked the doors. "Don't look at her!" Marcus couldn't help himself. He looked. The woman was now standing beside the road. She wasn't walking anymore. She was simply watching them. Then Ethan noticed something in the mirror. The woman wasn't standing outside the car. She was standing inside the back seat. Ethan slammed the brakes. Both friends turned around. The back seat was empty. Marcus was shaking. "What is happening?" Ethan started the car again. "We're getting off this road." He turned onto a narrow dirt road. For the first time, they saw an old road sign. County Road 9. Marcus stared at it. "That's impossible." Ethan looked confused. "What?" "My grandmother used to talk about this road." She had once told Marcus about an old disappearance. Years ago, a young woman had waited beside County Road 9 for someone who promised to come back for her. He never returned. She disappeared that same night. After that, drivers began reporting strange sightings near an old bench. People said a woman would appear beside the road and ask for a ride. But there was one warning: never stop for her. Ethan laughed nervously. "It's just an old story." Marcus looked at him. "My grandmother wasn't joking." The headlights suddenly flickered. Once, twice, then went completely dark. The car rolled to a stop. They were surrounded by darkness. Marcus whispered, "Ethan." "What?" "Look in the mirror." Ethan slowly looked up. In the rearview mirror, a pale face was sitting in the back seat, staring directly at them. Ethan turned around. Nothing. He looked back at the mirror. The face was closer. Much closer. Then the woman whispered from somewhere inside the car, "You shouldn't have come back." The headlights suddenly came on. The road ahead was empty, except for one thing. The old wooden bench was standing directly in front of their car, and sitting on it was Ethan's father. A man who had disappeared on County Road 9 when Ethan was only 8 years old. Ethan's hands began shaking. "Dad." The figure slowly raised his head, then pointed toward the back seat. Marcus looked behind them. The woman was there, and she was smiling. Ethan couldn't move. His father's figure was sitting on the old wooden bench, the same bench they had passed several times, the same bench that shouldn't have existed. Ethan whispered, "Dad?" The figure didn't answer. He simply pointed toward the back seat. Marcus slowly turned around. Nothing. The back seat was empty. Then he looked into the rearview mirror. The woman was standing behind them. Her face was pale. Her eyes were completely dark. Marcus immediately turned around again. Still nothing. Then the woman whispered, "He's not your father." Ethan looked back toward the bench. His father's figure had disappeared. The bench was empty. Suddenly, the car doors unlocked by themselves. Click. Click. Marcus grabbed Ethan's arm. "Drive!" Ethan pressed the accelerator. The car moved forward, but the road had changed. The trees were gone. The fields were gone. There was only thick darkness on both sides. Then Marcus noticed something. The fuel gauge hadn't moved at all. They had been driving for almost an hour, but the fuel level was exactly the same. Marcus looked at the clock. 12:07 a.m. Still. Ethan checked his phone. 12:07 a.m. Still. Marcus whispered, "We're not moving through time." Ethan looked at him. "What?" "We're driving through the same moment." Then something appeared on Marcus's phone. A new photograph. He opened it. It showed Ethan and Marcus sitting inside the car. The photograph had been taken from outside the windshield. Marcus looked at the timestamp. 12:07 a.m. But there was something wrong. There were 3 people inside the car. Ethan, Marcus, and a woman sitting in the back seat. Marcus dropped the phone. "Ethan!" Ethan looked at the screen. His face went pale. "That's impossible." Suddenly, the car radio switched on. Static. Then a man's voice. Ethan recognized it immediately, his father's voice. "Don't let her take you to the bench." The radio went silent. Marcus asked, "Why?" The radio came back on. His father's voice whispered, "Because the bench isn't where she died." Static. "It's where she keeps them." The radio shut off. Ethan stopped the car. He looked toward the darkness. "What does that mean?" Marcus looked at the old photograph on his phone. Then he noticed something. The woman in the picture wasn't looking at Ethan. She was looking directly at Marcus. Marcus slowly raised his head. The woman was now standing beside his window. He screamed. Ethan immediately locked the doors. The woman leaned toward the glass. She didn't attack. She simply whispered, "You remember me?" Marcus shook his head. "I've never seen you." The woman's expression changed. "You were there." Marcus froze. A memory suddenly flashed into his mind. A dark road, rain, a broken-down car, a wooden bench, a little boy standing beside a man. Marcus couldn't understand what he was seeing. Then another memory appeared. He was younger, much younger. He was sitting in a car with Ethan's father, and the woman was sitting beside them. Marcus gasped. "I know this place." Ethan stared at him. "What?" Marcus looked terrified. "I've been here before." The woman smiled. "Finally." Then everything became silent. The road disappeared. The car disappeared. For a moment, Ethan and Marcus were standing beside the old bench. Marcus looked around. There was no town, no road, no cars, only darkness. The woman was sitting on the bench. Beside her was Ethan's father. Ethan stepped forward. "Dad." His father looked at him. This time he spoke. "Ethan, listen carefully." Ethan stopped. "You were never supposed to remember this?" Ethan shook his head. "Remember what?" His father looked toward Marcus. "Marcus was never your friend." Ethan stared at Marcus. Marcus stepped backward. "What is he talking about?" Ethan's father continued. "Years ago, I was driving home with 2 children." Ethan's face changed. "One was you." He pointed toward Marcus. "And the other was her son." Marcus looked at the woman. The woman stood. Her expression became calm. Her voice was almost a whisper. "His father left him here." Ethan looked confused. "What happened?" His father answered. "There was an accident." Silence. "I survived." He looked at Marcus, but Marcus didn't. Ethan couldn't breathe. Marcus shook his head. "No," his father continued. "I couldn't accept what happened. I kept driving back to this road. I kept seeing the bench, and every time I came here, he looked at the woman. She asked me to bring her son home." Ethan stared at Marcus. Everything suddenly made sense. The strange photographs, the frozen time, the empty passenger seat, the woman appearing in the mirror. Marcus wasn't trapped in the car. Marcus was trapped in the memory. Ethan slowly looked toward him. Marcus's face began fading into darkness. Ethan stepped toward him. "Marcus." Marcus smiled sadly. "I think I've been waiting for you." The woman reached out her hand. Marcus looked at Ethan one last time. "Go home." Ethan shook his head. "No," the woman whispered. "He already did." Suddenly the darkness disappeared. Ethan opened his eyes. He was sitting alone inside his car. The sun was rising. He was parked beside Millbrook's main road. Everything looked normal. The dashboard clock showed 6:42 a.m. Ethan looked into the passenger seat. Empty. He looked into the rearview mirror. Empty. Then he noticed something on the seat beside him. A small old photograph. He picked it up. It showed 3 people standing beside the wooden bench. Ethan's father, the woman, and Marcus. On the back of the photograph were 4 words. "Thank you for remembering us." Ethan drove home. He never took County Road 9 again. But years later, people in Millbrook still talked about an old bench that sometimes appeared beside the road. and drivers still reported seeing a young man standing beside it. He never asked for a ride. He simply watched the cars pass. But there was one strange detail. If you looked into your rearview mirror after passing him, you would sometimes see him sitting in your back seat. And if you heard a whisper saying, "Take me home," you had only one thing to remember: never turn around. The end.